you own a Firestick, there's a good chance your device has already installed updates without you even realizing it. And that's because Fire TV devices are designed to update automatically when they're idle, which means your device can change overnight. So the question many people are asking right now is, should you actually be worried about Firestick updates? Some users try to block them completely. Now others say that's unnecessary. So let's break down what these updates actually do and what your options really are. And later in this video, I'll show you why some apps suddenly stopped installing on Fire TV devices. Years ago, updates on streaming devices felt optional. You could ignore them, delay them, or install them when you wanted. But Fire TV works differently now. Fire Sticks, Fire Cubes, and Fire TV televisions download updates automatically when connected to the internet, usually when the device is idle. So while you're asleep, or when the device is sitting on the home screen, Amazon can install updates in the background. And most people never even notice it happened. If you want to check the current software version, you can find it here under Settings, My Fire TV, About. But most users never even open this screen. Another thing many people don't realise is that updates don't only happen overnight. In many cases, Fire TV checks for updates after the device restarts. So if your Fire Stick restarts, loses power, or you reboot it manually, that can trigger an update check as well. Which is why some people notice changes right after turning their device back on. So, a quick question for you. When was the last time your Fire Stick updated? Most people don't actually know. And that's exactly why these changes can catch people by surprise. There are a few reasons Amazon pushes updates automatically. The first is security. Streaming devices connect to your network, your accounts, and sometimes payment information. So updates help patch vulnerabilities. The second reason is app compatibility. Streaming services constantly update their apps, so automatic updates help ensure Fire TV devices continue working with services like Netflix, Disney+, Prime Video and YouTube. But there's another important reason too. Updates also allow Amazon to evolve the Fire TV platform itself. A good example of this happened when Amazon expanded the advertising on the Fire TV home screen. After time, updates introduced larger sponsored rows, additional recommendation panels, and new content discovery sections. Many users suddenly realized their home screen looked very different from when they first bought the device. And that's the key point. The platform didn't change overnight. It changed gradually through updates. Have you noticed the Fire TV home screen changing over the last couple of years? Something else many people don't realise is that not every Fire TV change requires a full system update. Some parts of the interface can change through server-side updates, system components, and background services. That's why sometimes people notice new features or layout changes, even though the Fire OS version hasn't changed. Because these kinds of changes, some advanced users try to block Fire TV updates completely. If you spend time in streaming communities like Reddit or XDA developers, you'll see people discussing different ways to do this. Some tutorials online even show ways to block update servers entirely. And in some cases, those methods can work. but they usually involve technical workarounds. One tool people often mention is NetGuard. Now, NetGuard acts like a firewall and can block system services from accessing the internet. In theory, this can prevent the Fire TV update service from downloading new firmware. But there's a major limitation. Because NetGuard works by creating a local VPN connection, it usually means you can't run a normal VPN at the same time. So if you rely on a VPN for privacy or streaming, NetGuard can make that impossible. Another approach people talk about is blocking update servers at the network level. This can be done using tools like router filters, Pi-hole, or NextDNS. The idea is simple. If the device can't reach the update servers, it can't download new firmware. But even this approach has trade-offs. Amazon occasionally changes update endpoints, and blocking the wrong things can cause the Fire Stick to behave like it has no internet connection at all. So again, it becomes a bit of a cat and mouse game. You may also hear people suggest powering the Fire Stick from the TV's USB port instead of the wall adapter. The idea is that when the TV turns off, the Fire Stick loses power, which reduces the chance of it sitting idle overnight and installing updates. But this isn't really a reliable solution. And cutting power during background processes can sometimes cause stability issues. Now, remember earlier when I mentioned apps suddenly failing to install? This is where that comes in. If you've watched some of my recent videos, you'll know there have already been changes affecting how certain apps install and behave on Fire TV devices. For example, Amazon introduced a system where apps can be checked during the installation process itself. So instead of installing first and being blocked later, the installation can simply fail. If you watched my video about that change, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to. And when something like that happens after a platform update, it's easy to see why some users start paying much closer attention to Fire TV updates. The reality is simple. Most people using a Fire Stick never need to worry about blocking updates at all. Updates usually bring security fixes, performance improvements, and compatibility updates for apps. The things that most people should concentrate on instead is what you actually can control on your Fire Stick. Things like privacy settings, advertising identifiers, app permissions, and data collection settings. Because these determine how the device behaves and how much information it shares. And many people never check them. In fact, if you saw my video, Firestick Update Warning 2026, turn these settings off now, you'll know there are several settings that should really be turned off by default. That video has already helped a lot of people take back control of their Fire TV devices. Because even if updates happen automatically, how your Fire Stick behaves is still something you can control. So, should you stop updating your Fire Stick? For most people, letting Amazon handle security patches and app fixes in the background is actually the safest solution. But if you're someone who prefers to experiment and take more control over your setup, there are plenty of guides, tutorials, and forum discussions online that explore different ways people try to block updates. Just keep in mind that each method comes with trade-offs and limitations. Some can affect VPN usage, network connectivity, or app compatibility. And because the platform evolves over time, no workaround is ever completely foolproof. So if you decide to explore those options, it's worth understanding both the benefits and the caveats first. And if you want to understand exactly how Amazon started blocking certain app installs on Fire TV devices, watch this next. because that change explains why many people have started paying much closer attention to updates. And if you found this helpful, subscribe, because streaming devices are changing very quickly right now, and I'll make sure you don't get caught out by them.